Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place you need to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. It's episode 114, and happy 4th of July weekend to each and every one of you, wherever you may be. And if you're listening to this show early, chances are you are out camping somewhere, or you're out enjoying a 4th of July celebration, and you brought the Happy Camper Radio Show along with you. Thank you so very much for that. And I've got a very interesting show for you today. One, I think you're all going to enjoy this one, especially the youngsters. So definitely gather them around. Plug in an extra headset if you have one available, because they're going to enjoy it so much that they are going to be hounding mom and dad to take them to a wildlife preserve. Yes, have you ever done that with your kids before? If not, you may want to consider doing it, because it's something I know the kids will really enjoy. And Mom and Dad, you will too. Our phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio Show is 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe on YouTube. So many ways you can connect up with our show. And you can go to www.happycamperradio.com, where you'll find every one of our social media icons on the right-hand side of the page. Take some time to browse around, take the studio tour, see where we make the magic happen here at the Happy Camper Radio Studios. And there's also plenty of information for you to use anytime you plan a camping trip. Just go to a number of different places on the website, and you'll find a lot of useful information. Right now, I want to head on over to the shout-out window because, as usual, we have a lot of folks who sign on to social media during the week, and we want to take some time to recognize them. First of all, to Rebecca Malone Scosberg of Plano, Texas, Grant Brill of Elgin, Texas, they like us on Facebook, to Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park at Barton Lake in Fremont, Indiana, Brian Hazard of Huntington Beach, California, they follow us on Twitter, ND Nomad, David's Passage, Mary Cooper, B. Smith, Michael Shane David of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the fine folks at Harrison's Marine and RV of Redding, California, and Roundup Lake Campground and Mantua, Ohio. They added us to Circles on Google+. Finally, to Greg Orion, who subscribed to us on YouTube. Thank you all so very much for joining us and being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Well, folks, my camping trip is coming up here in a few short weeks, and if you haven't already made your reservations to go camping somewhere as part of the Great American Campout 2015, I'd like you to seriously consider doing that. If you go to our homepage, happycamperradio.com, I've got a lot of information, including a link to the National Wildlife Federation website, where you will find all of the information you need. The neat part about this, folks, and I'm talking about wildlife today, so definitely I'm going to re-emphasize this. If you make a reservation at a campground, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a campground. You can go camping in your own backyard. You can go camping in the forest. You can go camping in a friend's backyard. It doesn't really matter. Make the commitment for one night. That's all you have to do. Make your reservation. It doesn't matter as long as you go camping and you go to the National Wildlife Federation's website. And again, we've got a link to it on happycamperradio.com, and take the pledge to go camping between now and September 7th of this year. Their national sponsors are going to donate $1 for every single person who commits to go camping, all the way up to $100,000. And that money is going to be used to benefit wildlife. It's a fantastic cause. I've already made my commitment to go camping. And again, my reservations are made at Georgia Stone Mountain Park, July 30th through August the 2nd, 2015. if you happen to live in Georgia in the metro area, or you know you're going to be passing through right around that time, get in touch with the folks at Stone Mountain Park and make a reservation that weekend. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to have you come on over to my campsite. Why? Because on Saturday night, I am going to be doing my radio show right there from the campsite. And anybody that happens to be in the immediate area that would like to come on over and be on the show, I'd love to have you as my guest. July 30th through August the 2nd, rain or shine, I will be at Georgia Stone Mountain Park camping out as part of the Great American Campout 2015. Hey, and speaking of Stone Mountain Park, I was over there this morning. Wow, folks, we are getting slammed with a bunch of rain. The sun is trying to peek its eye out right now. I don't know if it's going to be out much longer. But early this morning, I got up because the rain was really pounding down on my roof, and it woke me up. And I know a lot of folks who happen to be camping out in this area are probably drenched by now. It's not the greatest 4th of July forecast here in North Georgia or the metro Atlanta area for that matter. And I hope wherever you may be spending the 4th of July listening to this show that your weather is a whole lot better than what we're experiencing right now. But anyway, I had to go over and take a drive to the park this morning just to see what's going on and how many people may be out and about. And as of this morning, there really wasn't a whole lot of folks over there. That may have changed between now and then. But later on tonight, they're supposed to be having a fantastic laser and fireworks show. And that's one of the neat features about camping out at Georgia Stone Mountain Park is you can take in the fireworks and laser show nightly while you are there. But they have a 3 or 4 day 4th of July weekend all planned, and they have a massive fireworks display. And I know tonight a lot of folks are going to try to get into the park. And unfortunately, because of the limitation in parking, and everybody loves to come over here to go to the 4th of July celebration. But, you know, they have to cut it off at some point. And each and every year, the interstate, the Stone Mountain Freeway, is just jam-packed with people trying to get into the park. But they shoot the fireworks off from on top of the mountain. So if you happen to be across the interstate, maybe at the Walmart parking lot or a couple empty parking lots above, you'll be able to see a really great fireworks display. Myself, I'm probably going to hole up here inside the house because I know in my own neighborhood, a lot of my neighbors, no doubt, are going to be setting their own fireworks off tonight. As I talked about on the show last week, Georgia finally woke up and decided to make aerial fireworks legal in this state after so many years. For a number of years, people were actually going to border states to purchase their fireworks and bring them back into this state illegally and setting them off illegally because the law in Georgia would not allow them to either possess or set off those fireworks. And more people were just disregarding the law, which is something I do not endorse, folks, okay? But, I mean, it does happen. Anyway, they finally went ahead and wised up and says, hey, let's keep the tax money here rather than people spend their money out of state. And as of July 1st, they went ahead and now made it law where you can purchase these aerial fireworks. On last week's show, I was talking a little bit about fireworks safety, and I was saying that I had not seen any new stores or even ads for that matter popping up where, you know, people could go buy fireworks. Wow, what a difference a week makes. Just this past week, these new stores opened up. Ads were everywhere. People were inside these stores spending big bucks. I couldn't believe it. They showed some of this stuff on television, folks, on the news. People just dropping $20, $30, $50 to $100 on fireworks. And some of these stores, they look like grocery stores. People walk in there with shopping carts going up and down the aisles, loading them up with fireworks. And the curiosity got the best of me. I couldn't help it. I had to go online to one of these stores, and it's one of these locations here in the metro Atlanta area, and I think they have fireworks stores out of state too. But they had a pretty impressive website. I just had to find out how much these aerial fireworks cost. Not that I'm going to go out and spend any money on fireworks. I'm not. But I wanted to get an idea of what people were spending. Anyway, I went ahead and I looked at a couple online. And just below them, they had a video which showed exactly what the fireworks looks like once it's ignited at night. And it goes up into the air and it shoots off all these beautiful colors and what have you. One of these boxes contains, I want to say, 12 aerial fireworks. And you light the fuse, and it goes off one right after the other until all 12 are up in the air, pop, bang, all this other stuff, and it's all done. For about 45 seconds of thrill, people are spending as much, in some cases more, than $130. Can you believe this, folks? $130 to set off fireworks for a 45-second performance. Not this guy. Give me $130. Turn me loose into a sporting goods store in the camping supply aisle, and I'm going to come back with an item in my possession, in my shopping cart, that I am going to use for several years down the road. That's how I'm going to spend my money. Now, I'm not trying to say, tell people how to spend their cash or anything like that, and what they should be doing and what they should not. That's not me. All right. If people want to spend their money on fireworks and enjoy them, hey, all the power to you. My neighbors are probably going to be spending a lot of money today. They're probably going to be out tonight if it's not raining, and they'll be shooting fireworks up in the air, and that's okay. Hey, I'll sit on the back patio and I'll enjoy the free show. That's just the way it is, okay? But that's what some people do. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on a rant there about fireworks and fireworks safety, but I do want to emphasize again, folks, do not allow young children to handle fireworks. There's a good possibility they're going to get hurt. You don't want anybody to get hurt. And just as important, folks, and a lot of folks don't think about this, but you've got to consider, too, the potential liability. If you're setting these fireworks off and you're not careful, one of these hot sparks comes down and it catches a batch of brush on fire. And that fire begins to ignite and it spreads to a nearby house. Somebody's house catches fire. Next thing you know, you've got the fire marshal knocking on your door asking questions. We don't think about these things, but this can happen, folks. If you're going to set off fireworks, definitely take all the necessary precautions. Make sure you have a bucket of water handy. You've got somebody watching for hot spots. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. The top of the page, click on Skip's Corner in the link section. You'll find some information about fireworks safety. Okay, on today's show, folks, I want to talk to you about wildlife preserves, wildlife reservations. It's a great place for you to take your family on a day trip. And you'll be surprised that many of these wildlife preserves are going to be within driving distance of where you go camping. Now, wildlife preserves are not considered a zoo. If you want to visit a zoo and leave camp and drive into the big city, you can do that. You can even go visit an aquarium for that matter. We've got both of them here in Atlanta. But I don't know too many people that escape the city to come back to the city during a camping trip. All right. But if you do your research, you'll be surprised to find out there are many of these wildlife reservations, again, within driving distance of where you're camping. Many will have domestic, farm, and exotic animals for your enjoyment. And the neat thing is, they provide kids an up-close experience with animals that they will not get anywhere else. There are some right here in Georgia, and in preparing for today's show, I couldn't help but to go online and browse around and find some right here in North Georgia that I didn't even know about. I want to talk to you first of all about one that is close to home, and it's not very far down the road from Georgia Stone Mountain Park, where I'm going to be camping. And it's a place you may want to consider if you ever happen to come out this way to go camping. It is almost within walking distance of my residence. I would definitely get my exercise if I decided to hike it there, but I'm not. Anyway, I'm talking about the Yellow River Game Ranch. This place, folks, is my favorite. It's very close to home. And are you familiar with the Punxsutawney Phil up in Pennsylvania that sees his shadow every year, the groundhog, and they do a big thing on that? Well, down here in Georgia, they have General Lee. And General Lee, just like Punxsutawney Phil, comes out, and you wonder whether or not on that day, Groundhog Day, he is going to see his shadow. Well, General Lee, his home is the Yellow River Game Ranch, and they do it up big each and every year on Groundhog Day. The news media comes out, people come out early, and they look for General Lee to come out of his little mansion and see his shadow. The Yellow River Game Ranch is open year-round, and I drove by there this morning, and I didn't see any cars. Of course, it was pouring down rain, and it was very early, around 9 o'clock this morning. But anyway, I had to pass there on the way to Stone Mountain Park. But it is a very beautiful place. Your kids would love it. The deer roam free throughout the entire ranch. And the neat thing about it is you can walk right up to these deer or allow the deer to come walking up to you, and you can pet them. You can feed them. You make your food purchases right there at the counter where you pay your admission fee, and you can carry that food with you throughout the park, and you can stay there the entire day if you like. Most of these wildlife preserves, you can move around at your very own pace and just take your time and take it all in. Hopefully, wherever you go, the weather is going to be picture perfect because you want to get out there, you want to have some fun. Yellow River Game Ranch, like I say, it's not only a place that's close to home, but myself personally, who has a personal connection with animals and a personal connection with nature, it is a place where I can go anytime that I just need to unwind and let go of some of that stress. Because when I'm around these animals, I feel I feel at ease. All the problems, all the issues, everything that may be going on in my life right at that particular moment is gone. I go on down there, they've got bear, they've got cougar, they've got buffalo, some domestic animals, ducks, geese, goats, pigs, rabbits, and you'll find them all right there at the Yellow River Game Ranch. And like I say, it's not very far from Georgia's Stone Mountain Park. And you can find them online too at www.yellowrivergameranch.com. Consider that if you ever happen to be in the metro Atlanta area on a camping trip. Hey, here's another one, folks, that I want to talk about. And again, like I said this morning, I was just browsing through the internet looking for some places to talk about, and it's something you can do too, regardless. And you don't have to necessarily be in Georgia to go camping. You can do this in any 50 states. Just pick out a location that you want to go camping and do your research ahead of time. You'll find these places. But another magical place, folks, that I want to talk about just for a moment, and I've never been here before. I do plan on going, but I salute these people for what they do. I am talking about the fine folks at Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary in Locust Grove, Georgia. It's just south of Atlanta. They're typically open Tuesday through Saturday, and this particular park is free to the public. You can come in there free of charge, but they do kindly ask for a donation. And believe me, I will be generous when I go down there to take a tour of Noah's Ark. I will open my wallet and I will donate generously. Folks, this admission fee, whatever you may be paying for these wildlife preserves, all right, even if it's like $8 or $10 for an adult, maybe $6 to $8 for a kid. I'm just throwing some numbers out here. But that admission fee that you're paying is a very small price because it takes a lot for these sanctuaries, these animal preserves to function. It costs a lot of money to feed these animals, to house these animals, to make sure that they are cared for. Every one of them at some point in time are going to need some veterinary care. They're going to need some medication. They're going to need to be taken care of. So it's going to be important that when you donate to a place like Noah's Ark, that you do so generously, because these places are here for you to enjoy. So you definitely want to take an opportunity to visit Noah's Ark if you happen to be coming through Georgia. This sanctuary right here has a lot of exotic animals, lions, deer, bear, And many of these animals were either abused, they were abandoned by their mother, they could not take care of themselves in the wild, they could not be turned back into the wild again because they don't have the tools that they need to take care of themselves. And they found a place, a home like Noah's Ark, that will care for them throughout the rest of their years. And folks, visit their website too, and you'll see what magic that place really is. I am hoping to get down there sometime soon to visit them, Noah's Ark in Locust Grove, Georgia. I didn't know this place existed here. It's the North Georgia Zoo up in Cleveland, Georgia. I talk about camping all the time in North Georgia and didn't even know this place existed. Not until this morning when I was doing some research, I found it online. And if I ever want to escape the campground, to get away for a little bit, I am going to consider a little journey over to the North Georgia Zoo. They're located in Cleveland, Georgia, and they too offer a close encounter and personal interaction with the animals. They have farm animals, they have a petting zoo, they have large exotic animals and livestock, and you can check them online too. Check them out for their online prices and their hours of operation. Again, folks, in many cases, when you visit these wildlife sanctuaries, you are not only doing something for the sanctuary itself by donating when you pay an admission. Okay, you are doing something for yourself. You're doing something for your kids. And it is something that when you go camping and take them into one of these environments, it's going to be something that they will take home and talk about for many weeks and months to come. Here's another thing. Whenever you visit any wildlife preserve, make sure by all means you bring your camera with you. You'd be foolish not to. Take a ton of pictures, especially the ones when you have young kids. Have you ever remember what your first pony ride was like when you were little? You probably don't. You're probably too young. But I can remember my oldest daughter when she was real tiny and she took her very first pony ride. And of course, Mom was right there beside her. And Dad was on the other side of the pony just snapping pictures away. This is back long before the digital era. And we had to buy the roll of 110 film to put in a little Instamatic camera. And I must have shot up about 2 or 3 rolls of film just of my daughter riding that pony, not just to get her mom and the pony in the picture, but her expression was priceless. You remember those, folks? Remember those days? All right, maybe when your kids were younger, or maybe you've got some young kids that haven't been camping yet, or kids that you haven't exposed to wildlife. It's a picture that you will want to cherish for the rest of your life. Your kids are only young once. Take care of them, spoil them to death. I did that to my kids, and I know you'll do the same to yours. Anytime you go camping, you want to find something for your kids to do. You want to keep them occupied. You want to keep them entertained. I know I talk all the time about getting lazy, sitting around at camp. I don't go anywhere. Well, that's just me. Of course, I'm much older now. The kids are out of the house. They're on their own. They're doing their own thing. But I remember there was a time when I did take my kids camping. And if I were to tell them, hey, just sit down, enjoy the fire, just keep your hands to yourself, get a drink every now and then, we're just going to sit here and look at the fire, they're not going to want to go camping much longer. You've got to keep them occupied. You've got to keep them entertained. Yes, it's wonderful to be able to take them on a hiking trip, to maybe go see a museum, to go swimming down at the beach and doing this and doing that. But it's also nice to be able to get out every now and then and enjoy some places away from camp. And again, do your research, folks. Do it online, and that's the neat thing about the internet today. No matter where you are, a lot of us are carrying our smartphones with us. And we can do this research right there from the campsite where they do have Wi-Fi service available. I'm not a big fan of electronics at camp. You know that. All right, but in some cases, when you have that technology at your fingertips and you're looking for something to do, something to go see, a place to take your kids for them to enjoy, you may want to consider a nature preserve or a wildlife preservation. And just do a little bit of research ahead of time, find out where the closest one is next to the campsite that you are going to be at, and you may find it's just down the road. It may be a little 2 or 3 hour trip, so what? Again, the look on your kid's face is going to be absolutely priceless. Again, some people don't mind driving to the big city and seeing the zoos and the aquariums, but there are other times of the year that you can go ahead and enjoy places like that. So, if you can enjoy some of the exotic animals out there, you definitely want to go ahead and do that. It's wildlife preservations and wildlife reserves. They're all over the place. Take some time to enjoy them. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. Hey folks, this week I want to take you to Maple Springs, Kentucky. Do you like primitive camping? Do you like seclusion? Do you like being away from just about everything? You will enjoy Maple Springs Campground. It's part of the Mammoth Cave National Park, run by the National Park Service, and this campground is open all the way through Monday, November the 30th, 2015. At Maple Springs, visitors can enjoy the serenity of the campground and surrounding backcountry trails, or spend their day exploring Mammoth Cave, the world's largest recorded cave system. Now, the campground is part of Mammoth Cave National Park, a 52,800-acre park that includes the Green River Valley, rolling Kentucky hillsides, and the expansive Mammoth Cave with grand scale chambers and long winding passages. Now, access to the primitive campground, get this, is best by ferry. Isn't that neat? The ferry is 6 miles from the Mammoth Cave Visitor Center, and it fits 3 cars. Ferry rides are free and only take a few minutes. Now, driving to the campground from there, once the ferry lets you off, is only a couple minutes away, where otherwise you would be driving about a 45-minute loop around. They've got a phone number right there on their website. You can call them for further information, ferry schedules, and what have you. A couple things to know before you go. No firearms, weapons, or fireworks are permitted in the park. The Green River Ferry hours are from 6 a.m. to 9:55 p.m., and definitely, check out their website. They've got some beautiful pictures. It's going to be on our homepage all week long. And by the way, folks, if you haven't already signed up for a free recreation.gov account, here is an opportunity to do that. When you click on the featured campground button, look for the little gray box in the upper right-hand corner of the Maple Springs, Kentucky website. You'll see it there. It says sign in or sign up. Click on it. Answer a couple quick questions to register. It makes your reservation process go a whole lot smoother anytime you use recreation.gov to secure one of their campgrounds, no matter where you're camping. But if you're looking for a primitive site, if you're looking for a place to really get away and just get away from it all, and you want to go out sometime between now and November, here's the place to do it. It's Maple Springs Campground in Kentucky, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And, of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, definitely, by all means, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and make sure you include a link to the campground website. Well, folks, that's about going to wrap things up for me for this 4th of July weekend show. I really enjoyed having you along. I'm all pumped up and excited. Anytime I'm talking about wildlife, anytime I'm talking about getting out, hey, that really, really gets me excited. Hey, don't forget, every animal enjoys a loving home. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. Don't forget, you catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no question about it, my friends, I'm going to do my best to make a happy camper out of you. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everybody. This is Happy Camper Radio.